You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Welcome all. Welcome in. We're back again with another SuperCoach edition of the Insight NFL Podcast. I'm Mullin, joined by DFAB and also Secko for this fine Sunday night potty. And guys, just to kind of recap, it's been a crazy couple of days in the NFL world, in particular with SuperCoach. NFL SuperCoach launched for the season last Thursday. We dropped out an ep straight away, mere hours afterwards. And if you have not seen that episode yet, the video link is in the description below. Make sure you check that out. We kind of go through the lay of the land with SuperCoach, go through scoring, go through some positional players that we like and also do not like. A really good introduction, might I just add, to the SuperCoach atmosphere. But before we get into things, DFAB, mate, you're here tonight on a Sunday. How are you feeling?
I am.
How much time have you spent on the SuperCoach app since Thursday?
Mate, if I had $1 for every time I have cleared all team and started again, I would have many dollars. I'm loving this, dude. It's such a sick platform. There's so much value to be found. And we're just scratching the surface at the moment. I know Secko's gone hard in on the deep dive with this and got some really cool insights that I'm sure he will continue to share with everyone. But I love that the SuperCoach platform has kind of started. I could kind of see it becoming a thing globally. Really, it's such a fun way to participate in fantasy. So I'm really excited to see how it actually rolls out once games start and see how the scoring looks and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be fun, man.
SuperCoach has been such a dominant force in Australia, especially around that AFL and NRL side of things. But before we head into it, Secko, mate, you're the main show, giving us your team reveal, and we can't wait to get into that. But how are you feeling leading into the big reveal?
Yeah, mate. You said it was 3 days, and I never realised it felt like 3 weeks because, I've been in there, I've been clearing, I've been redoing, I've been tinkering, but I've landed on a team which I'm happy with for now. As DFAB said, there's a lot of time. There's a lot. We're all still just learning a bit as well. We're 3 days into a journey here. So, I'm not saying that this team I'm going to reveal right now will be my final team going into week one, but. I'm confident with where I've sort of done my analysis. Value is king in SuperCoach. Cash gen's king. So I've based a lot of my team around that sort of principle of SuperCoach, and hopefully, look, feel free to absolutely roast me at the end of this in the comments. I can defend everything, and I plan to. But look, if you think I'm completely off the rails, let us know, because I'm pumped to hear that.
Can't wait, Secko. Cannot wait. And hopefully, if there is a little bit of roasting, there's some unique things flying out there that we can use. But as it stands at the moment, gents, we are 25 days away until season starts, and I just can't help but keep looking at that countdown, because it just gets me so excited that we are inching days and days closer. And 25 days, that's a whole lot more SuperCoach work to pump in. We're going to be dropping a lot more SuperCoach content over the upcoming weeks. But don't worry, if you are here for the NFL fantasy through Sleeper, we will be sticking with a couple of those shows a week as we get close to it. But looking at it now, I think it's time to really dive in. But one thing first that I do want to add, if you want to get involved with Insight and NFL SuperCoach, we do have our Unlimited League. And I'll just throw this up on the screen. That's our league code. We currently have about 130 plus members at the moment, and there will be a weekly prize for the weekly winner each week. So that's going to be a fun one. There's the code up on screen. I'll be throwing it up at the back end of this show, but if you're nasty and you want to jump in straight away, there you go. Cool. Back to it. I'm going to share my screen. And before I do this, we're going to be, the way we've kind of got it, I've got a blank team up on SuperCoach ready to go on a spare screen. And player by player, position by position, Secko will be giving us his pick in his current roster, and we'll be going through that and chopping and changing as we go. So let's roll it. I'll flick my screen up here. Oh, what has gone? Someone's been playing around with the
Zooms.
There we go. Someone's been playing around with the players. Here we go. Let me just move this around. That's just great. I bet that was Mav.
Be the kind of thing Mav would do as well.
It would be. Cool. There we go. So that's up on the screen. All three of our faces. Very good. Secko, I'll leave this to you, mate. First up is quarterback. But before, actually, I will just reiterate, not too sure if we mentioned this on Thursday's show. Just under 80 million is the total salary that you do get to fill out your roster, and you need to fill those 24 spots. So over to you, Secko.
Yeah, mate. Look, but before I start with players, and I will get very quickly into the QB1, but I sort of touched on it a little bit before, but a lot of this has been driven by value. So the key here is, I was going to mention as well, Mel, thanks for doing that, 279.2 mil essentially means you can fill up your QB1, your 4 running backs, 6 receivers, 2 tight ends, with the best of the best, which, is a very enticing thing. And it's it's something you have to sort of, step back from after the initial thought of, wow, I can have a team with Chase and Jefferson and Allen and Bajan, whoever, because at the end of the day they'll score really well, but you can't complete your team with all them. You can sort of make do, but you're still going to have a few rookies here and there, and at the end of the day you want to have the best of the best to complete your team. So it's a bit of a balance, and that's sort of the way I'm sort of addressing it. So having said that, QB1, when you're ready, Mel, it is Jaden Daniels.
There we go.
And the reason I've gone Jaden Daniels, and I will preface this by saying this is all contingent on Terry McLaurin signing with the Commanders. If he's gone, this will change as quick as it possibly can. But look, he's one of the best values of the elite QBs, and by elite QBs I mean 20 million plus salary cap. He has a good early season schedule. His break even compared to what I have him projected as is fairly low compared to some of the other elite QBs. There's only 42 in this scoring format. He can do that by having 200, 2 touchdowns and 50 yards rushing, which all very feasible numbers, especially when last year he and that doesn't include rushing touchdowns, which are obviously the big king in this thing. And I just feel with their receiving core, he has the ability to have 8, 9 plus rushing touchdowns, which in this format are going to be gold. So he's a value guy who I think can be top 3, and I've got him ranked as top 3 in his position. So he's the QB1.
Secko, before I throw this to you, DFAB, very glad that you threw up this as contingent on Terry McLaurin. That was going to be my main kind of just question of how I could see that kind of not working. But I mean, Jaden Daniels on paper, absolute stud. Looking at it last year, just under 900 rushing yards in his rookie campaign. To go along with it, he added 6 tutties on the ground. DFAB, what are your thoughts here on Jaden Daniels as Secko's first quarterback?
Look, in terms of actual fantasy, I'm kind of fading Jaden Daniels a bit. But for SuperCoach, he's exactly what you want. And I kind of touched on this a little bit myself in my previous post about SuperCoach on Instagram. You want those dual threat QBs, guys that you know are going to get it done with their legs. And Jaden Daniels is in the argument for being the best guy on his legs, let alone, at the very least, he's top 3. So, phenomenal way to start your squad. Phenomenal.
Thanks, mate. Secko, first, we'll run to the first QB bench. Because I think that's what it kind of locks in. So who do you have here to fill in that spot?
Yeah, QB2 is JJ McCarthy. He's the guy. He's 4.7. He should be the 100 owned player. 100% owned. No one's ever 100% owned in SuperCoach because there's obviously people who do whatever they do, and in this situation will probably be even lower because of the high salary cap can mean that you can put sort of anyone on the bench really and make it work. But JJ McCarthy's a locked-in, obviously, starter. I actually have him as a top 12 quarterback this year, somewhat controversially. So based on sort of what he's expected to score, he'll make like a ridiculous amount of cash in this format. And essentially, I can see him getting very close at the right time to go straight across to a fallen primo at his buy. So again, buy planning is something I've only sort of scratched the surface on, and early season schedules. But essentially that's my pipe dream plan is him to perform well enough for me to only have to spend a little bit of money to go to who I consider the QB1 at that time. And that could be any one of a half dozen players. But at this stage, he's my vehicle to make a lot of money for my team.
And Secko, just as it stands, I'm looking at SuperCoach now. He's currently owned in 13% of all teams. Do you think that is way out? Is that going to increase by a landslide in your opinion, or how do you feel like that's going to look?
Yeah, I mean, it has to. As people, I mean, if people are listening to the likes of us a lot more, they'll obviously understand it. But I think and as that happens, obviously his percentage will go up, and by that people will see that, and it'll go up. And but when people realise you can have is he 3 points to 3.7, isn't he? Or is he 4.7?
Yep. 3.7. Yeah.
3.7.
You can have a guy $3.7 million who is going to score 30 points a game, with a break even of, I think it's 7. So he's going to make, and I don't know I've tried to work out the magic number, and I'm getting there. I'm getting closer to figuring it out. But he's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars, or tens of millions of dollars, sorry, over this journey. So, it's just a no-brain pick for me. I don't know if it's going to get that high. I think Ashton Genty last look was only 40%. I mean, he's a 3.7 or he's a 4.7 million rookie who's actually a top 10 running back. So it's hard to know what the people are going to do to drive those percentages. But I'll tell you, I know he'll be 99+% in the top 1% come the pointy end of the season, or when it's time to trade out. That is, at his buy, he should be in the top 1% of team. He should be owned pretty much 100%.
Massive fan of this one. I can't see myself not having JJ McCarthy in that bench spot, or at least somewhere on my roster. But DFAB, looking at it for you, I take it no complaints with JJ McCarthy here, or are you going somewhere different in this QB flex?
Nah, I can see a world where if someone wants to, if you're going you're just going for your guys, you're not looking at primos, you want to throw like a Michael Penix or one of those guys that's second or third year and they're really starting to find their feet, that you can opt for something like that. But I think the way you put it, Secko, is by far the best way to do it. He's going to be 99% owned in the top 1%. The upside on JJ McCarthy is sky high. We know that he projects to be a really, really solid actual NFL QB. He projects to score well in fantasy, and at literally the basement price. I don't think there's any rookies that are priced lower than him. It's ridiculous to not. He's guaranteed to make you money. He's someone that you could realistically start on field in your flex if you really wanted to. If you wanted to go super hard on primos, but having him sitting in your bench spot it's money for jam. Yeah, and he's got a really nice schedule to start as well. Chicago, Atlanta, Cincy, Pittsburgh, Cleveland before the bye. He's got some really, really nice matchups where he's going to be forced to throw. He's going to be forced to score for them to keep in games. Everything's pointing towards him making maximum kind of money for SuperCoach early on.
And before we get to your running backs here, Secko, just to preface with JJ McCarthy, it definitely looks like we're getting that price dip purely based on his injury last year. Like, there's no real detailed projections with SuperCoach at the moment. He was injured. By all reports, he was meant to be starting and beating out Sam Darnold for that starting job last year. But of course, he tore his knee up during the preseason. And this is what's kind of led to his price being this dipped down. So definitely a value to grab. And I think the next rookie above him, or starting rookie in Cam Ward, is like $1 million more. Is that about right?
Yeah, 800. I think it is. 800,000. Yeah. The strange thing about the McCarthy thing, like you said, Mel, is that he's not a rookie. He's been in the system. He's been learning from Darnold, for whatever that matters. But he's been with Kevin O'Connell in meetings for a year more than a rookie. And he was a top 10 pick. So he should have been priced more than 3.7. He should have been more that 4.2 or 3 mark, based on what other top 10 rookies are priced at. So he's got a cheaper price than he should, only by a bit, and he's had a whole year in the system. So I see it as he's underpriced by, probably 3 million minimum. So you're getting him at break even 7. He's going to score a lot more than that. He's going to make money. Just put him in. I get wanting to get a bit cute, put someone else in the flex. No one will make money like McCarthy does, and you've got your starter to play the games until buys happen anyway. So you won't need him to be on field if he's in your Q2.
Love it. An absolute steal to start with your bench spot. So Secko, first running back. We'll switch to those guys.
Yeah, so first running back is Christian McCaffrey. Some might be thinking, "Wow, you've faded the top 9 priced running backs," and that's 100% true. And this is based on value in this position. So the thing about running backs, I think, is that I can throw a blanket over the top. My top 5 running backs that I have projected are all within a handful of points. So in this format where money matters and break evens matter, I've gone for this guy and the next guy, who are considerably cheaper than the guys ahead of them. So CMC's, in my opinion, the best value in SuperCoach. It's also the best value in fantasy. Any PPR format. Look, even if you play non-PPR and you're old school guy, I still think he's the most undervalued guy in that format. He's a must start in my head. Again, he's not like JJ McCarthy underpriced, but he's underpriced because he missed a bunch of games, came back underdone, didn't perform where he was, and essentially is priced like he's not the stud that he is. So, and look, everyone's going to say there's a heightened risk with CMC. That's cool. I mean, I'm happy to take that on. I'm not scared of him in any format. When he's playing, if he plays 17 games, he will be the number 1 running back. He'll kill Saquon. He'll shit on Bijan. He'll just be number 1 if he plays every game. So the best thing about SuperCoach in this scenario with CMC is that if he gets injured, no, it's one trade. If you're drafting him at the 101 and he gets injured, it's potentially ruined your fantasy season. So I think you'd be silly not to get CMC in SuperCoach, because worst case, the only reason why he wouldn't be the top price player is because he might get injured. In this format, gets injured, good, get rid of him for one
Love
trade.
it. No arguments there, and I love how you worded that out, Secko, because that's I feel like the main, if we are looking at sleeper for a second, that is the main pushback when it comes to CMC, is that huge risk. DFAB, was this one a little bit of a surprise for you, or how are you feeling about CMC?
Yeah, not surprised at CMC, just more so surprised that he's fading the top 9. There's definitely some guys in that top 9 that I think are like at least locks in every squad that I've gone about. But in regards to CMC in particular, put just that component of that analysis, that he 100%, you need to have McCaffrey in your team. I think he's the 5th most owned running back at the moment, probably on reputation and name value. But if you look at his fantasy finishes, it's 1, 2, 1, 3, 11 in the seasons where he's actually been healthy. The 11 is when he was a rookie and didn't really kind of get the opportunity towards the end. So we know what CMC is. He's a record breaker. He is a running back and a wide receiver in one spot. He's a legitimate fantasy cheat code, and that's gonna translate to SuperCoach as well. And as you said, knowing, correct me if I'm wrong, is it 27 trades you get and 4 boosts? Or maybe
26.
Yeah, 26. Yep. So knowing that you can take that gamble on CMC, and if he does go down, you can dip him out, use one of those trades, just go about it, assuming you've got 25, knowing you've got one there reserved for CMC if he does go down, because we know he's probably hit that injury-prone tag now. Just juice that orange for all it's worth, and then when it's done, throw it out, find someone new. But you're going to make money on CMC at that price. He's going to help you win games at that price. He's too good to pass up.
And Secko, your second running back, mate, who have you got?
The second one is another one very much in the same vein, who represents amazing value. I actually have this guy as my RB3 this season in PPR formats, half PPR formats, which this one is essentially. It's Devon A-Chain. Now, the biggest thing is there's a number of reasons why I'm picking this guy. He's even cheaper again than CMC, and again, same thing. But this time it wasn't him that was injured. It was the fact that Tua was out and the team was rubbish. So he's severely underpriced based on his splits with Tua and without. He was trending to be just behind Saquon, who had a historic season in PPR points per game. He was RB2 if he kept up that average that he had with Tua. So if that happens again, and look, it may not. Tua might get injured. HA might get injured. He might be rubbish. He has no one behind him. Last year, had Mostert behind him. Mostert stole 32% of the running back snap shares or running back carries and passing downs share from him in that time that Tua was there. This year, he's got Jalen Wright, Alexander Madison, Ollie Gordon. He's not losing 32% to them combined. So he only had the 19th highest running back snap share last year. And if Tua had stayed there, he would have easily been a top 5 running back. I project him to be again at that price. He's going to be a keeper, but he's also going to make money. So if Tua does go down, I'll be able to swap him out because his break even's only 30, and he can have 30 very, very comfortably. A bad game for him would be around that mark. In a lot of games. So I'm pretty confident with him as my RB2.
And just looking at it before I throw it to you, DFAB, only 10% owned too. So he's not too popular in the streets, currently ranked at 9th. Or I guess it's kind of up there, but in the grand scheme of things, not too hot. What are your thoughts here, DFAB, on A-Chain for his second running back?
Super high on A-Chain this year. I've got him in my IFS rankings through our Patreon. I have him at RB6. I wholeheartedly believe, though, at his draft, he could finish as the running back 1 this year and the overall 101 in fantasy. Even just looking at Devon Achane's half PPR scoring from when Tua returned last year in week 8, 23.7, 28.1, 18.5, 19.1, 17, 15, 11, 28, 19. Like, the dude puts up points, and so much of it's out of the backfield. Passing out of the backfield. His floor is so high and his ceiling is as high as they come for anyone. And at 17.9K, I don't think there's any better bang for buck than what you get from Devon Achane. So yeah, he's in all my squads. He will be 100% owned in all my squads. I love that pick.
Starting off with some good value here, Secko. Who's your next running back?
The next guy, surprise, is more value. It's Chase Brown from the Cincinnati Bengals.
Love it.
He's someone I think is going to be overlooked massively in SuperCoach this year. But the upside this guy has, he's priced off a 17-week body of work. He didn't really start playing his proper percentage of snaps until Zach Moss got injured in week 9, I think it was. In which case he went up to, he had an 85% snap share after that time. And that's the expectation as a bare minimum, or it's a reasonable expectation for that to be what he gets this year. I think it's going to be the minimum he gets. He's going to be on the field every single time in the best offense in the game. And Joe Burrow is very happy to just make it a 3-man show and never worry about looking anywhere else. There's not much, or there's no one in the backfield. Taj Brooks, I think, is a great prospect. He won't steal carries. He'll get every schemed running back pass play. He'll get everything that they can possibly get to him. He had 37 SuperCoach points per game once he got the backfield after Zach Moss went down. His break even is 28. He's going to make a lot of money, and I honestly think there's a chance that he's going to end up as a top 6 running back by season's end. So again, I'm not planning on keeping him, but he's going to make a lot of money and score at the same time. So that's what I'm looking for in terms of value. Guys who can score while they're making me money, not just guys making money. You can't rely on just rookies making all your cash. The guys on your field scoring for you also have to make you cash.
Such a strong start here, Secko. I just have to say, mate, I don't know how it gets any better than this. We've still got 19 more picks to get through, but this is such a strong start. Love Chase Brown. And with Bengals too, we know the past 3 years or so when Joe Mixon was on board, when they have their main guy, they will feature that main guy. And now Zach Moss, he was the main guy in the way of Chase Brown to start the year last year. he's gone. They've gotten rid of him. He's released. And like you said, it's only really Taj Brooks. And I believe Samaj P. Ryan was added back to this roster as well. But there's really nothing there that's going to get in Chase Brown's way. So, yeah, he's well and truly poised for that 75% plus snap share again to start this year. DFAB, any hesitations on you when it comes to Chase Brown?
Man, all preseason I've been really low on Chase Brown. I'm not going to lie to you. I have been trying to not get drawn into the hype of how he finished last year, but after watching preseason week 1, seeing how Burrow and Chase already look like they're in mid-season form, the Bengals have historically started really poorly. That first month has always been a bit tenuous for the Bengals. I have a feeling that just from what I've seen so far in preseason, that's maybe not going to be the case this year. They're kind of coming in a little bit hotter, which only boosts Chase Brown. Like in my rankings, I've moved Chase Brown up to RB10. I think he's going to be elite this year, but even more so now, just knowing that the guys around him are really starting to click early, it looks like. I really, really like this pick, and especially as someone that hasn't really liked Chase Brown coming in, I think it's a real sneaky pick because a lot of the forums aren't going to highlight Chase Brown as the guy. You'll see him as the possible breakout and stuff like that, but he's a truly dependable running back that you can count on for fantasy scores week in, week out. It's a really, really safe pick, high floor, high ceiling.
And it used on both sides of the ball too. Just looking at it last year, just under 1,000 yards rushing, but that was, like Secko mentioned, only really took over from week 9. And in the receiving game, he had 54 receptions and added 4 scores there as well. So he's a dual threat in that regard and used in all areas of the field. Love it, Secko. Who's your last starting running back?
Yeah, you said it couldn't get any better. It can, but yeah. And ludicrously, only 41% of the people are on board. But this bloke is a must. Ashton Genty's the next guy. He is just going to be. I mean, look, I don't have to say anymore. Just pick him, and pick him as your RB4, because if you need me to explain it more, he's going to be again conservatively a top 10 running back. A lot of people have him as a top 5 running back. He's going to get all the work from the start in Las Vegas. He's going to score like a keeper. He might end up being a keeper. He may set the record for the biggest cash cow in NFL SuperCoach history in year 1 and keep it for the next 20 years. This guy has the chance to just keep making money and be potentially the top price player at some point. Like that's it. It sounds hyperbolic, but I don't know. This guy hasn't really got. We don't know what his ceiling can be if Pete Carroll and what's his name, Chip Kelly, decide to just make him the guy, because like why not? He's shown he can work. He can handle the workload. Yeah, he could be a bust for how high he's been taken in some fantasy drafts. But I think in his format, if he's not performing as well, he's still made 10, 12, 15 million maybe. Definitely $10 million by the time he stops making money. So just pick him, keep him on field, score and make money.
Just to start by saying too with this one, if you did tune in to preseason week 1 and you saw his box card from his first touches in NFL preseason, please don't worry. He had 3 carries for -1 yard. It's only preseason. Genty is going to be an absolute bell cow in this Raiders offense, who was the 6th overall pick. And it looks like a whole lot of people are on board with 41% ownership currently. DFAB, I don't want to speak for you, mate, but I take it there's no hesitation with this one.
There's not much. I don't think he's going to be. I don't want to sound negative. I don't think he's going to be anywhere near as good as a lot of people are talking about him. I don't think he's going to be a generational running back. I like him a lot, and at his price, knowing the workload he's going to get, you cannot not have him in your fantasy, in your SuperCoach squad. You need to have him. Purely on volume, he's going to make you so much money. I agree with you, Secko. He could be a generational cash cow. You cannot pass up the opportunity of having Genty at that price. But I think he's going to be you make money and then you flip him going into finals personally. But again, you can't not pick him. He's a phenomenal person to have in your squad.
And Secko, for the next 2 running back bench spots, we'll just throw these 2 in together and then, you can give us your breakdown on why.
Yeah, so it's RJ Harvey and Caleb Johnson. I'll be completely honest, and a lot of people have different rookies in there, RB5 and 6, and that's not off the table for me either, to be honest. But I'm talking about Marion Hampton and Trevian Henderson, especially after, was it Friday or Saturday? Saturday, I think it was, when Henderson had that return. Everyone was talking about it. I mean, it was a kick return. He got no points in fantasy for that, by the way. But anyway, I digress. Obviously he's quick, but it's a bit of a different game against backups returning a kick. But yeah, anyway, I love him. Don't get me wrong. It's just he's not a top 10 pick, running back pick like people are saying now. The reason why I picked Harvey and Johnson is that it's purely based on their price and value. Again, I have them all very, very closely bunched up, like I have the top 6 running backs. Why I went McCaffrey and Achan is I have them bunched up with Gibbs and Robinson. I have these 4 guys so these 2 and Harvey and Henderson and Hampton, they're all H's, all very, very close in my projections. So these guys have a lower break even. These guys are cheaper. They're going to make more money because of their lower break even. That's how SuperCoach works. That's the reason why. Obviously, preseason will change this potentially. If they're not, if the word out of camp's wrong, if there's no drum beat's even harder. Again, a kickoff return is not going to change my opinion on these 4 guys for a SuperCoach format. It's going to have to be something a bit more substantial. But at the moment, RJ Harvey's the number 1. I knew this. I made this decision before he got the first carry, because I knew that 5th on the depth chart was irrelevant. He's the best. I think Caleb Johnson's going to be a really good player. Again, this could change based on what happens in the next 2.5 weeks.
Now, I've just got to throw a little bit of cold water on this one. Looking at RJ Harvey, we've had a few little discussions, and I know I get a little market to you there, DFAB, but I'm a little bit higher on the J.K. Dobbins side, I guess, looking into the start of the year, and kind of all reports by pretty trusted beat reporters too coming out of Broncos camp is Dobbins' fit has just been seamless. He's seeing more of the work. He's much better in pass protection, and that's one area that RJ Harvey is kind of lacking to start off, which is fair enough. New rookie coming into the NFL, he's got to get acclimated to that kind of pace and that physicality. But then again, the cost is just so cheap, and it doesn't matter if he's not starting, if he's not getting 50% plus of the snap share to start out the gates. His break even is going to be single digits. It won't take him much. He's explosive. He can get that all in a couple of plays. And DFAB, I know you're super high on Harvey this year. What are you feeling about towards? And we'll also loop in Caleb Johnson as well in your response here.
Yeah, so Caleb Johnson, I think, is Genty light. I think he's going to get, especially with all the headaches that you've got in the running back room there, I think Caleb Johnson is going to be a almost guaranteed workload. I really like Caleb Johnson in all formats this year. I think he has, again, a super safe floor. I talk about having a safe floor a lot. I think I've said it in another pod. It wouldn't surprise me if somehow, in some way, Caleb Johnson ended up having a better season for fantasy or SuperCoach than Genty, just because he's more of a complementary piece of the overall offense, as opposed to Genty being the focal point. He's going to have defensive scheme purely to stop his run because he's got all the highlight packages and stuff like that. So I really like Caleb Johnson this year. That secondary point, I love RJ Harvey. I'm a Broncos guy. He's probably like the bottom of that group of 4 for me. I'm personally in my own squad, I've got Marion Hampton there. All the stats with their offensive coordinator's history with how they rush, I'm back in Hampton. He's going to have a massive workload. I think I'll post it on my Twitter later on tonight, but I think of the last 9 years, they're top 5 in overall rush attempts every year for the last 9 years. So I think that maybe a Hampton is a safer pick, but I think you can't go wrong with any of them, to be fair.
And Secko, just before we head to the wide receivers, looking at it, your main kind of point with these 2 lower priced rookie running backs was purely just that cost. Like Henderson's $400K more, Hampton's still nearly $700K more. So you less cash on the bench to hopefully throw some more cash in your starting lineup.
Yeah, exactly, and have more at the start in the bank. Look, points are spot on. I honestly don't think that J.K. Dobbins is a legitimate threat, but obviously I'm not reading Broncos beat daily, so
yeah, I agree with that too.
I can't. I just don't think. I think it's just he's a backup. His insurance. He might get the first carry on day 1 of week 1. That's cool. I still think RJ Harvey can outscore Trayvon Henderson in week 1 and then week 2 and week 3 as well. Hampton is probably my pick to go in there. I still think Najee plays, and Najee is better than J.K. Dobbins, and be on the field a lot more. They'll run more. They're potentially a better offense than Denver's. They are a better offense, but I think it's going to be a lot more 1A 1B with Najee Harris. I'm not sure. I mean, he's not training. He's not running because he's got a sore eye. So obviously, there's something to play there, and there's a long time before we make these decisions. But yeah, I'm going. It could easily change. I accept that.
Yeah, I think the key there is that there's no loss with any of them, right? I think they're all good picks to have in that spot, which is encouraging. You've got lots of ways you can kind of have some differentiation from the guys that you're going against.
Yeah, there's a chance that I might try and make 4. Sorry, I'll jump in. There's a chance I might even try and sneak 4 rookies in some capacity. Sort of to capture more of these, like bump Chase Brown out and start with Hampton. If Najee's not playing, that's what I'll do. There's every chance I'll do that. But it all depends on. I think Najee's there week 1. I don't think J.K. Dobbins is a real threat week 1. So that's why I've leaned that way.
Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say there, Secko, was looking at this. Rookies are going to be very, very consistent across SuperCoach as we lead up to the start. The value is way too good, and a lot of these guys are going to have starting roles right at the gate. But we'll run down to your wide receivers to start us off. Who's your first starter in this grouping?
It's Jamar Chase. So the opposite of everything I did in the running back room. I'm doing it. I'm doing it in the wide receiver room. It's if anyone's played AFL SuperCoach, it's the Bond pick. If anyone's played NRL SuperCoach, it's Tedesco. If anyone's played BBL, it's Matt Short. Like it's the best of the best. It doesn't matter how much money they lose when you don't drop them. All the way to the end. So he's a locked and loaded. I'm not going to worry about if he has a slow start as a Bengal. I'm not going to worry if he's lost, $10 million at one stage. I want him for when he's scoring 70 points, and we saw it on Friday that what he did with such a limited amount of time with Burrow. Granted, it was a preseason game, and granted, it wasn't the best defense they were facing, but this guy can just break this scoring wide open, and I want to be part of that.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Chase whatsoever. And you can see he really lapped the field last year when it comes to wide receivers. You can see in 2024 average, he was nearly eight points best than the next. And he was also Triple Crown winner, most receptions, most receiving yards, and also most receiving touchdowns for a wide receiver. So nothing for me to add on this one. How about for you, DFAB?
Yeah, locked and loaded. It's the easiest pick you'll ever make. If it's the first magnet on the board, yeah, don't overthink it. Jamar Chase is the guy you got to start from. It's easy.
We don't need to spend any more time on Jamar Chase there.
No.
Secko, wide receiver 2.
Number 2 is Nico Collins.
Love it.
This isn't really a value pick. This isn't really anything anything to do with that. This is I think this guy in a similar way to CMC is severely underranked. And again, that's due to injury, missing time, coming back, and not being as productive as I know he can, as a proud Nico owner in formats since his breakout a couple of years ago. He's just he's what I consider one of the most rounded receivers in the league, and I think CJ Stroud's up for a massive bounce back season. I think Nico Collins is going to be one of the top handful of scoring wide receivers, and he would do it from early on. So, but I very much plan on him being a keeper as well.
Nico, he's my dark horse for wide receiver 1 overall. I think he's got it all. Top double-digit touchdown upside for sure. And if he didn't get injured last year, I mean, his projections based on that 4-game sample to start off was just absolutely nuclear. DFAB, what about you on Nico Collins?
Yeah, nuclear is the right word. He looked like an absolute stud. Again, not to throw cold water on it, I'm a little bit tentative on Nico. I know he started like wildfire at the start of last year. I'm a little bit worried. But they have a cakewalk to start the year with the Rams, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, Tennessee. It's not till week 5 with Baltimore that you're really looking at a capable defense. So it's a pretty safe pick. You're going to make a ton of money on Nico. And what's his price at? 17 mil. Like that's discounted for someone that's a legitimate 1A kind of wide receiver. So it's a phenomenal pick for SuperCoach.
And before going to your third wide receiver, Secko, Nico's been a little bit slept on, 13th most owned, 12% overall. So we'll see how that one balances out towards the start of the season. Who's your third wide receiver, Secko?
Third, I think, is my favourite pick in the entire one. He actually is my pick to be wide receiver number 1 at season's end. It's CeeDee Lamb. So it's funny because my 1, 2, and 3 my rankings are Lamb, Chase, and Nico Collins in my half PPR rankings and projections. So this guy is severely underpriced. It's not even funny. Again, this is to do with injury to his quarterback. He had to have Cooper Rush throwing the ball for half the year, and still managed to perform as well as he did. It's scary the year before. If anyone who played fantasy the year before, like what Dak and Lamb did together was unbelievable. It would have equated to more than 40 SuperCoach points per game in this format. And what's his break even? I think it's 28. So again, he's going to make a heap of money. If something happens to him or to Dak, you can trade him up off the money he'll make. If not, let him sit there until he graduates to wide receiver 1 in price and sits in your top left corner of your wide receivers for the whole season.
And seeing DFAB clap as soon as you lock this one in, I don't think I need to throw it to him to spend any more time. So your next wide receiver, Secko, we'll just run straight into that.
Yeah, 100%. Next one is Drake London. So I've never been a massive Drake London guy, and I'm probably buying a little bit into the upgrading quarterback for him and what he did with Michael Penix in the season. But I just think this guy's another guy who's massively undervalued, or sorry, underpriced. And it's a value pick for me. This guy's a guy I expect to trade at his buy, having made a lot of money to be able to go to hopefully someone off their buy. Again, I have to make sure this lines up with what I'm thinking, but the idea is he makes 5 mil, and I get to Justin Jefferson or whoever I haven't got, who's able to just go with it from there. So that's the London pick.
No, I love it. I think we can just run straight into the next one too here, Secko, and we'll tie up these next wide receivers. And then I'll do them together.
Throw it to DFAB. Yeah, I'll do them together. Next two together. They're both value picks. It's Calvin Ridley and Jalen Waddle. Again, going for value here. Calvin Ridley's again severely underpriced, especially with obviously Cam Ward over Will Levis is a massive upgrade. I think this guy's going to be a PPR machine. He's the only guy in the entire wide receiver room in Tennessee. So he'll dominate for PPR. Jalen Waddle. He's my tip to clearly be the wide receiver 1 in Miami. This is factoring in if Tyreek plays every game. I think Tyreek's going to do a full Antonio Brown and leave and crack it, ask for a trade, or just storm off at halftime of a game. So I fully expect Waddle to make so much money that I can then trade him again to a top 6 guy.
Love it. And we'll run to your bench guys too, Secko, just before we'll tie up this wide receiver position, and then we'll just grab DFAB's thoughts after that. Yeah,
so the bench guys are Tetairoa McMillan and Emeka Ibuka. They're the 2 best receivers, rookie receivers. So they're both 4.5 mil. And these guys are going to start from week 1. They're going to make a lot of money from week 1. McMillan's already the wide receiver 1. Ibuka's got that Godwin slot role pretty much locked up. Godwin's tipped to start on the pup. So these guys are just going to be cash cows. And who knows how good they can be, filling a spot on field if need be, while they're making money still.
DFAB, looking at his wide receivers now all filled out, is there any question marks from any of these guys that stand out for you?
Not at all, mate. Anyone that wants to know my thoughts on CeeDee Lamb and Drake London, jump to my Instagram. They are in my biggest kind of hype stacks coming into the year. I'm so high on both of them. I think they're both going to be top 5 wide receivers, so phenomenal picks. Calvin Ridley, I'm obsessed with at the moment. He's one of my biggest sleepers for the year, so love Calvin Ridley, love the way he goes about it. Waddle, I'm a little bit more cautious on than everyone else, but Ted McMillan, Emeka Ibuka, if you guys chose to start them in your squad, I'd be completely okay with it because they're going to make that much money and they're going to be serviceable immediately. So, yeah, phenomenal wide receiver room. Really, really like what you've done. Yeah,
I love it. For what it's worth, Ibuka is the biggest value, I think, across the board in fantasy, or it's sleeper fantasy in particular. But while we're on it with DFAB's Insta, guys, you can find us, myself at Mullin_FF, the DFAB at DFAB Insight, and for Secko at Secko_IFS. We're all on X and Insta, and we'll be dropping out content heavily throughout the whole off-season leading up to season start. So, Secko, there's your wide receivers all filled out, looking good. Let's go down to tight ends.
Very good. Yeah, very good there. Right, tight end 1, Brock Bowers. This is a sort of toss-up between Bowers, McBride, and Kittle for me. They're all roughly about the same price, but funnily enough, Brock Bowers, who was the tight end 1 last year, is the cheapest of them, and that's the reason why I've gone with him. But this is very much an influx situation between those 3. Either one of them will be a keeper, whoever I decide to put there. I'm not going to trade them out. They'll just sit there and cover them on the bye week.
Next tight end.
The next tight end is Travis Kelce. I can hear the boos.
Yeah, bold.
And this is purely a SuperCoach move, based on the fact that I'm pretty confident Rashee Rice will get 6 weeks. It gives Kelce 6 weeks in that role that he had late last year when Rice was out. He was on track for 158 targets, I think it was, over that time without Rice. If he does that this year in the first 6 weeks, he's going to make a ton of money, which I think his break even is 18, which 18, for those probably don't understand how to equate or can't think how to equate that into tangible output. 4 catches, 50 yards is already 14 points. So him doing that, if he gets a touchdown, he's going to make a heap of money any one of those 6 weeks. Because his minimum output is going to be, I would say, 5 catches even really is his minimum. 5 for 40 is what did I say? 13 points. It's almost there. So he's just purely a SuperCoach make cash for me situation. So I don't have to invest in Bowers and McBride. That is, I think it's about $4 million saving there. I'll make all that back by the time he's made me the money. So that's why I put it there.
It's gross to see a Chiefs player this early on, even though we got this far. I thought we were going to go a whole show with that one, but can't disagree. Can't disagree.
Don't get me wrong. I hate everything about him and his status in the game, and he's at the age cliff now, but he just needs 6 good games, and he can literally go off into the sunset and do whatever he wants, and that's what I expect, and he'll be irrelevant after that. So don't keep him any longer than Rice is out. And if it's 4 games, I probably won't start him. But yeah, we'll figure something else out. I just don't
think Taylor Swift's going to let him get that invested in football again. That's the only worry I have.
Yeah, I mean, they need him. They've got no one else. They're literally the best team in football, and they've got nothing. I don't think Xavier Worthy's any good. So maybe people think that they have him, but Hollywood Brown's not playing. Worthy's no good. Rice isn't going to be playing. Pacheco's no good. Like, they've got nothing. So they're going to lean on him just because he's the easy play for Mahomes to start the season and bank some wins.
There you have it. Secko absolutely hates Taylor Swift. Secko, for your bench tight end.
He's going to get cancelled for that one.
don't make me the anti-Swifty. Just make me the anti-Kelce. I'll move on to tight end 3 though, because before I get cancelled, it's Tyler Warren. So again, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up situation between him and Colston Loveland. I just think he's going to have a bit more of a run. And watching sort of the way he played on his routes in the preseason just confirmed it for me even more. He's going to be far and away the best rookie tight end. I think he's going to be a very high performing tight end. He'll just sit there until he's made his money. He may just until I have to downgrade him to a non-playing rookie at some point. But yeah, until he maxes out, he's going to be sitting there and a break glass in case of emergency when I need it.
Zero pushback from me, Secko, with these ones. DFAB, anything that you'd like to chime in here? No.
I don't think I'd pick Kelsey at gunpoint. I can see why you're doing it. For me, at a lower price point, I'd probably more inclined to be taking Sam Laporta just with a change in offensive coordinator. I'm taking that gamble on the bloke that set records not 1-2 years ago. But I respect the pedigree of Kelsey, and my dynasty team praise you right.
Well, it's only 6 weeks DFAB, so
I'll take 6 weeks.
It'll
just give me time for Kyle Pitts to come good, mate. That's all I need.
Where's he going to be playing? Miami. Kyle Pitts.
Probably.
I mean, this show's got it all. Anti-Taylor Swift to Kyle Pitts reference. I mean, this has just been great.
This is what you pay for.
This is what you pay for.
It's even got kickers in it, mate. So we're set to go.
Let's jump straight into your kickers there, Secko.
I've gone with, and there's 2 schools of thought here. I've seen on Twitter, there's a go cheap, you're dumb to overthink it. But I'm going Cameron Dicker. And the reason I'm going Cameron Dicker from the Chargers is he plays 4 of his first 5 games in a dome. Dome kicking is just money for jam. I think the Chargers are going to score a lot of points. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. And John Harbaugh is Jim Harbaugh is an old school coach who goes for 3. He doesn't get fancy and go for it on fourth down. He takes the points. So I can see this guy just kicking a lot of, and then with the more field goal attempts, the more 6, 8, and 10 pointers they get. It's just a big difference and not something to be slept on. And just put in the 3.7 mil guy.
Mm-hmm. Dicker as the kicker. Got to be happy with that. Got to be happy.
You like the alliteration there, Damo, don't you?
I was trying to think of something better, but that's just all I could come up with on the spot. Who's your bench kicker there, Secko?
This guy has potentially the greatest SuperCoach name of all time, Tyler Loop. He is going to be the starting kicker for the Ravens. He could very well be in your K1 spot. Another Harbaugh brother who likes to just settle for 3 and win games that way whenever they don't punch it in. So he should be the highest owned. He should be in the top half dozen highest owned as well. It's a free square to make money in the kicking position. Who can also cover for buys.
Love it. DFAB. How about you, mate?
Just want to shout out Secko. That's the kind of analysis you want, guys. The fact that he's playing 4 of the first 5 or 5 of the first 6 in a dome, that's the kind of stuff that'll win you your SuperCoach leagues and what have you. That's the kind of analysis that personally I wouldn't have ever looked at. That's 1% stuff. Really nice, Secko. Really good stuff. That is prime insight right there for your pleasure. Very good. Very good. Secko, defense, special teams, mate. First one here, thrown to you. I'm going to be known as the kicker guy, aren't I, from now on? Yeah, you are. The guy knows most about kickers. it's the niche 100%. I need. My DST is a tough one at the moment. I'm going with Arizona at the moment. And this is because no one with a high price has a good schedule to start the season. Again, it's back to the point about kickers there. It's important to look at early season schedule because there's every chance you're not going to hold on to these guys, any of these kickers or any of these defenses very long. Obviously, buys happen, but things change, and you can't be prepared to hold on to Denver's defense for the whole year. It's just not how SuperCoach works. You never end up doing it. And so I've gone cheap. Cardinals have a cushy early run. They're a much improved defense. They're underpriced. So there I go. No, I love it. And just to plug the Patreon a little bit here, we did just drop my top 5 DST picks for SuperCoach. And spoiler, Cardinals were number 1 for me. I think just that matchup against New Orleans Saints is, oh man, they're just going to absolutely feast and a very good chance to keep those guys to 0, I think. But who is your bench defense here, Secko? It's the Patriots. Again, it's a cheap
it's a cheap bench option. They're going to make money. Their break even is super low, and they're actually going to be a much improved defense that get Mike Vrabel as head coach, and he historically at Tennessee loved playing dour, low scoring games. I think the first run of games is pretty good to be sort of those 13-10 type outings. So they'll get points for keeping the team score down. They'll get a lot of sacks with Vrabel. So they're just a good option to keep making money on the bench.
Love the Pats there. DFAB?
Yeah, no arguments.
Easy. We'll head up to your last spot here, Secko.
This is the spot I'm keen to hear. This is what I'm really excited to hear.
And before sorry, Secko, before you chime in, I'll just show 24.8 remaining salary. So still a whole heap of kitty left in the bank. We'll see what you do with it here.
I can go virtually anyone here, but everybody has to know that the flex spot is a quarterback spot. Don't even consider putting a running back in there. Don't bother. It's a waste of time. It's a quarterback spot. If anyone's ever played Superflex, they realize that you're not going to put a tight end in the Superflex spot. You're better off putting the 28th ranked quarterback in than the 12th ranked running back in a lot of situations. Like, put a quarterback, you're given a free square, do it. My current strategy is to put Cam Ward or JJ McCarthy, Cam Ward in my flex. And I'll tell you why. This guy, I've done some analysis on using sleeper projections with the SuperCoach scoring. This guy's projected to make score 11 less than Lamar Jackson points per game, which sounds like a lot. But when you're saving $26 million to get that, this guy's going to make a lot of money, outscore almost everyone else outside, your top 2 or 3 players. He's going to make a lot of money and score a lot of points while doing it. Now, it's a preliminary thing. This guy may easily flip to any other quarterback who I think is the right kind of guy to score points and still not lose money, because once that flex spot loses the money and you're not making a profit when you swap them out to ideally Josh Allen off his buy in the flex spot, that's when you're in trouble. So I want someone who's going to make money. It could be Ward, it could be Justin Fields, it could be Drake May. That's sort of what I'm thinking, but someone who's going to score points and make a lot of money while doing it.
And Secko, I've just got to ask you,
$19 million, $20 million.
Yeah. And that's what I have to ask. With all that money left in the bank, because I've seen so many, and probably going to be the number one question on this, all that cash left in the bank, why is that happening? Because I'm seeing so many lineups and people are just spending all their cash. They're not having any cash in their bank. What's your thought process behind having that much saved?
Yeah, so this is so I can do upgrades. I can do an extra upgrade by saving some money. So when it gets to me wanting to do my first one, I don't have to make sure that, let's use Chase Brown as an example, make sure Chase Brown has fattened enough that I can get him to someone good. With the extra money, I can get him to someone good. Or I can swap him and a rookie and get 2 studs. Or if I use a boost, I can do 3 rookies and get 3 starters if they're all fattened enough. So having that bit of bank there, especially to start, I don't know how it's going to work this year in this format. So I'm keeping a bit in my preserve in case something goes wrong, if I get a bunch of injuries, or I've got that flexibility to go up without having to rely too much on nailing absolutely every cash play. So that's my theory. But again, that money's there to be used if I want to upgrade Ward to anyone 24 mil and under.
I mean, never a bad thing having that cash in the bank. DFAB, with that being said, that's probably the most controversial pick. I'd probably say having Cam Ward and having that cash. What's your kind of thoughts behind that?
I think it's an extreme hold cash approach, I believe. I know that I'm probably spending a little bit more on a QB to try to be winning my matchups earlier on. It's great for trying to build bankroll and stuff like that. But yeah, Cam Ward scares the shit out of me. And I just look at his opening schedule. You've got Denver, who are the top ranked fantasy defense. You've got Houston, who I believe are the 6th. If I look here, the 6th ranked fantasy defense. And then the Rams that are the 11th, they're playing those 3 in the first 4 games. I just worry a little bit about Cam Ward. He might be someone to jump on later on in the year, but even against those high-end defenses, he's still going to make money. So he'd be someone I'd be more than prepared to have on the pine. I don't know if I'd want to start him, but there's definitely, I can see the value in it. I just would probably pivot a different direction.
And to be honest, there's every chance he's going to swap with JJ McCarthy and be QB, the QB bench spot. He was worth more, so he went there. Valid points. I really want to have both quarterbacks, both rookie quarterbacks, because the amount of money that they will make will allow me to facilitate every trade I want to do very, very early on and ride the wave, and then just do sideway trades over the buys. Yeah, I want to try and lock up as much primo in the first third of the season as I can, so then I can then use the rest. So it's making money quick is my game. It might end up horrible. We'll see.
It's great to see something different, Secko. It really is. It's a breath of fresh air after all the. It's just been a tidal wave of SuperCoach NFL content flying through on social media. So it is really good to see that. And that's probably the best thing about SuperCoach. There's so many different variations, so many ways to skin a cat, as people love to say. But that's all in all, mate. That first team reveal here for the Insight team, it's a very, very strong start. I'll just read it back out to the people just to lock it all in. Starting quarterback spot, you've got with Jaden Daniels. In the bench, you've got JJ McCarthy. Running backs, CMC, Devon Achane, Chase Brown, Ashton Genty. Your benches, you've gone with RJ Harvey and Caleb Johnson, both rookies, might I add. In wide receivers spot, you've gone with Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Waddle. And on the bench, you've got 2 more rookies again in Tet McMillan and Emeka Egbuka. Tight ends, Brock Bowers and Travis Kelce. I'll just kind of pause for effect with that one. And also another rookie, which is a theme of tonight's show, Tyler Warren on the bench for the bench tight end spot. And in your kickers, you've got Cameron Dicker, Tyler Loop, another rookie. I mean, if you can take one thing away, these rookies are just too good value to pass up. And in defense, Arizona Cardinals for your starters, New England Patriots on your bench, and then flex, you've got another rookie in Cam Ward. So all in all, Secko, just closing thoughts here on your team before we look to the future.
Yeah, look, again, it's been 3 days. There's going to be a lot of learnings over the next bit, and I listen to you guys as much as you guys listen to me, and I listen to other people, obviously in the community. So we're all learning. We're all brand new at this, but I see this as a way, as I said, to have a bunch of keepers that won't be touched. It doesn't matter what they do with cash. The rest of the guys are there to make as much money as quick as possible, while still not cannibalizing my scoring altogether. So still score a decent enough clip to have my team upgraded faster than other people. And by doing that, I've got Ridley, Waddle, Chase Brown, Kelce, and Ward or McCarthy, whoever's making the most money and cashes out sort of, earlier. I have those guys making a lot of money for me early on, hopefully, and that's the idea, and then get them up to someone who is a set and forget, and all of that is around buys. Like, it all has to work within buy structure, which will come as our analysis develops. I think we'll hit on that as a collective here at Insight as we get closer to, but it has to fit then. And that may mean some personnel changes around my starting team based around buys as well. But that's me for now. So roast me.
Closing thoughts, DFAB?
I love it. It's a very clear cash is king build, which I like. I think that's definitely a very viable approach coming into SuperCoach. And I don't want to highlight one of our co-hosts here, but and I've just realized the caption kind of covers your face, Secko. My apologies, but Mav in the comments here saying cash is king. Correction trades are also good with money in the bank. So from that standpoint, I think having that kind of cash in the bank allows you to be water, and you're able to make pivots where you need. And if guys that the industry is super high on, like a Devon Achane or a Genty or a a Calvin Ridley or a Waddle, let's say someone touch wood, so they get hurt week 1. It happens every year in the NFL. It's going to happen. Having that cash there to be able to make a pivot, find someone that blows up week 1, whatever the case is, gives you a lot of flexibility, and you can go in confident through that first month, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the flexibility to make those adjustments.
I love it, Secko. You're a brave man, throwing yourself out there and hoping that you get roasted. Good as a Saturday, which is good. So please, guys,
I drew the short straw, mate. So anyway, we got it done.
Let us know here, guys, what you think in the comments below with Secko's team reveal. We will have more to come in the upcoming weeks of DFABs, myself, and also Mavs. Before we jump out, I will just throw it up again for everybody who missed out when we started out. We do have an Insight Unlimited League. This is the code above here, 57775. Join that in. I believe we've got over 130 members, and we will also be rolling out cash prizes to weekly total points winners in that one there. So all in all, I'll just flick this one back over here to us. No, there we go. Perfect. Excellent. There we have it. Secko's first team reveal, guys. And just to mention again, if you did miss our first edition of the SuperCoach series, the link is in the description below to our introduction and overview of NFL SuperCoach. We will be back tomorrow night. We'll be switching back over to the sleeper format with a Superflex mock. That'll be kicking off at 7:30, so another fun one. And we'll be rolling with NFL and SuperCoach fantasy content coming up over the next couple of weeks. So that'll do us here tonight. Gents, sign off. We'll see the people later.
It's a pleasure as always. Mock draft Monday, baby. Let's go.
Yes, bring on Monday. Can't wait for a mock draft. Thanks, boys. Thanks, everybody.
Please roast Secko in the comments below. See you guys.
I'll be the first one there.